What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to show it to you right now. This is the debut album from the band Kill Everything, entitled Scorched Earth. This is released on Comatose Music. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very traditional, dark, murderous style of brutal death metal. Yeah. When I first heard about this project coming together, I was very intrigued and very excited as to hearing what kind of possibilities this band would be bringing together. And of course, one of the things that sold me the most about Kill Everything was the fact that this was a band that featured former members of one of the hallmark TXDM bands, in my opinion, Devourment. Most notably original guitarist Brian Wynn and bassist turned vocalist Mike Majewski. Very, very intrigued to hear what was going to come from this project. And of course, back in 2016, I had the honor and privilege of getting to see these guys play live at Building Temples from Deathfest up in Houston. And that was a very cool experience, getting to see them play live and do their thing. And only a full-length album and recorded material would be coming soon from this band. And a couple of lineup changes later, a little bit of a more well-rounded sort of shift change in the band later, we finally have the debut full-length from this band entitled Scorched Earth. It's 8 tracks, and it clocks in at around 30 minutes in length, and upon listening to this album a bunch of times, I'm noticing that there's a lot of things that separate this band from what you would normally expect from brutal death metal, and I'll get to that in a second. But let me get to what I feel is the real true highlight of this entire album, and that is the music. I definitely think that this album brings the pain upon first note, and this is some seriously heavy death metal going on here. A lot of great guitar playing going on here. There is an endless array of pit riffs to be heard throughout the majority of this album, and I definitely think it makes the impact of whether or not Kill Everything can bring that sort of rowdiness when it comes to their guitar riffs, and there is plenty of that. You hear that upon the opening moments of the title of the song Kill Everything, and then when you get to the title track, Intrinsic Vexation, Thermal Liquidation, you get some seriously killer guitar riffs going on here. There are some very, very good, chunky, meaty riffs going on here. The pit riffs sound awesome. They're definitely the type of riffs that make you want to go crazy in the mosh pit. Lots of great moments there with those riffs. The bass tone on here is very good, very solidly played, very well done. Definitely accompanies the heaviness of the pit riffs that are done throughout this entire record. The drumming on here is very solid, very well paced, very traditional sort of sounding drum performance. A lot of heavy double bass, a lot of blasts, a lot of detail in question here, and especially for the fact that this album has a very distinctive sort of pace. It's a 30-minute record, but yet every song flies by very nicely. The drum work absolutely makes this album go along that much smoother and that much more splendidly. And now we get to the part of the record that I feel that I've been seeing a lot of division of when it comes to this particular album, and I'm talking, of course, about the vocals. There are two distinctive sort of vocal varieties here. On one end, you have Mike Majewski doing vocals, and on the other hand, you have one of the newer additions to Kill Everything in the form of the guitarist vocalist Weston Wiley. He is the frontman for the band Primordius, which is another really great Dallas, Texas-based death metal band, and hearing him do vocals on this album is a really splendid joy to hear. Because, of course, you'll recognize which vocalist is which because both are very distinctive. Weston's vocals are a little bit more of that traditional sort of guttural, deep, undecipherable sort of vocal tone at first, but you can understand what he's saying pretty well and quite nicely. Mike's vocals, on the other hand, are something completely different, because if you remember Mike's vocals from back in Devourment, you could tell this dude had a vocal style that was so guttural, so raw, and so undecipherable, you couldn't understand anything he's saying. But this time, he's dialed things back just a little bit, where he delivers this sort of understandable but yet guttural sort of tone. I mean, it's kind of cliche for people to say that some vocalists sound like Cookie Monster or whatever, but I'm getting that Cookie Monster vibe from Mike's vocals here on this record, and I don't mean that in any sort of insult or in any means to disrespect his vocal style, but it's clearly obvious this is a new and different sort of vocal style because he wanted to do something different here with Kill Everything, and I think on his vocal performance, I think he does a fine job here. It's something that I'm going to have to get used to or have to give multiple listens in order to fully let it set in, because this is such a vastly different vocal style from Mike Majewski here, but I still think he gets the job done as best as he can, and I definitely think it sounds better on CD, because listening to the YouTube clips kind of had a little bit of a different opinion on me, but listening to the CD, I think it sounds better on a physical disc instead of having to have something overly processed through YouTube personally. But yeah. The vocals will probably be a little divisive to some, but I think give both of them a shot, because I think they both play each other quite well. The two different vocal styles that you hear on Scorched Earth. So anywho, overall, very solid debut, but I think the best from this band is still yet to come. I think there's a lot more work to be done, but I really am impressed and I'm digging what I hear so far. If you're into Texas death metal, you will find a very good place in your heart for Kill Everything. This is some very solid stuff. So if I had to think of any personal favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say Scorched Earth, Intrinsic Vexation, Thermal Liquidation, It's a Wonderful Knife. I fucking love that song title and those lyrics, so over the top. And the closing track is pretty solid too, Carnivorous Lunar Activities. So what I'm going to do is I'll leave you some links in the description boxes so you can get a hold of this album and listen to it. I will leave you a link to the Comatose Music Bandcamp page where you can listen to this album in its entirety, hear it for yourself, and be your own judge as to whether you think it's worthy of being purchased or not. You can stream it, buy it digitally, and it is available as a physical CD. You have Pro CD artwork, and I love this booklet here. You have the baby photos of all of the band members that was in this recording lineup. Very, very entertaining to see. I will also leave you a link to the band's personal web store where you can purchase the band directly, purchase from the band directly, get merch from them directly, so on and so forth, and go from there. So, again, the album is Scorched Earth by Kill Everything. This is released on Comatose Music. Go check this one out. And for a score, I'm feeling a solid 8 out of 10 for this one. Very solid debut, but I'm looking forward to greater things for this band in the future. So, if you've happened to have heard this album, definitely let me know what you think about it and how you feel about it, or any of you guys into Kill Everything, definitely let me know. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. Until next time, Army Help out.